Alia Reyes felt the floor vanish under her boots the moment the rift opened above Luna Base. 1 second, she was standing inside the communications chamber, trying to record a report about strange energy signals near the moon. The next second, light burst around her like a silent explosion. Her hands reached out by instinct, but there was nothing to hold. The world folded inward, colors twisted, and the air felt thin as if she was falling between two dreams. She did not scream. Years of training told her that panic only made things worse. But her heart beat so fast that it felt like it would crack her ribs. Alia tried to activate her suit controls, but the symbols on her wrist screen flickered as if the device was confused. The rift pulled her farther, deeper, until her body felt weightless. Then the fall ended. Her boots hit a smooth floor solid, warm like it held sunlight inside it. Her vision steadied, and she took a breath that smelled of silver and flowers she couldn't name. When she looked up, her spine straightened on its own. The room around her was enormous, made of crystal walls that bent light into shifting patterns. Each color slid softly, like calm waves of the ocean. Tall pillars rose on both sides, shaped like braided vines of stone, and strange floating lanterns drifted above her head. Alia had seen alien structures before, but nothing like this. Before she could move, a sharp hum echoed through the hall. Dozens of armored figures appeared from both sides, stepping into view with perfect coordination. They had tall, graceful bodies, covered in a silver-blue armor that glowed faintly. Their helmets were smooth with no visible openings, yet she knew they were watching her closely. Every step they took sounded like the rhythm of a beating drum. One of them raised a staff toward her. Alia slowly lifted her hands away from her sides, showing she carried no weapon. Her voice stayed steady, even though her throat felt dry. "I'm Commander Alia Reyes of Earth. I don't know how I arrived here, but I am not a threat." The guards did not speak, but one tilted its head slightly, as if analyzing her words. Then they formed two lines, opening a narrow path between them. A guard motioned for her to walk forward. Alia took a breath. She had two choices: resist or follow. She knew humans were still new to interstellar diplomacy. A wrong move could spark conflict. So she stepped onto the glowing path. As she walked, she noticed the guard's armor shifted color with each movement, like scales catching light underwater. Their presence felt disciplined, almost royal. It became clear she was not in a prison or a laboratory. This place felt like a palace. At the end of the hall, enormous doors parted without being touched. They slid open like clouds moving in the sky. What lay beyond made Alia pause. The room was circular, with a ceiling shaped like a dome of starlight. Every point of light moved slowly, forming constellations she didn't recognize. In the center stood a figure seated on a throne carved from meteor stone. She radiated authority even without moving. The Empress. Alia knew instantly who she was: Empress Valoria, ruler of the HFY Dominion. She had seen her only once on a distant broadcast, during a political summit between species, but seeing her in person was overwhelming. The Empress looked both ageless and ancient at the same time. Her skin shone faintly with a pale blue glow, and her eyes held the calm of deep space. Long silver hair flowed behind her like living threads of light. When the guard stopped, Alia stopped with them. Empress Valoria studied her silently. The air felt heavier, as if her gaze carried its own gravity. Alia hoped her expression looked confident, even though her stomach felt tight. Finally, the Empress spoke. Her voice was soft but powerful, like wind across a frozen lake. "Commander Alia Reyes of Earth," she said. "You were summoned." Alia blinked. "Summoned? By who?" "By me." Alia's mind raced. Summoned by the ruler of one of the most advanced alien civilizations, and through a quantum rift? Humans had nothing that could create such a passage. For the Empress to use such technology meant this was no small matter. The Empress raised one hand. A holographic image flickered to life beside her. It showed a young HFY woman, tall, elegant, with markings along her skin that glowed like constellations. Her eyes held a spark of curiosity and warmth. Alia felt her breath hitch. Princess Kalira. Images tumbled through her mind the first time she met Kalira on Earth. The secret missions they worked on together, the quiet evenings when they talked under the artificial sky dome, learning about each other's worlds. Their bond had grown slowly but deeply. Alia had never expected it, never sought it. But it happened all the same. The Empress watched her closely. "My daughter," she said. "She vanished 3 cycles ago during a covert mission to your world. Before disappearing, she left behind a message. Just one name." Alia's heartbeat sped up. "Your name." The guards reacted, shifting as if preparing for something. Alia felt every gaze in the room target her. She kept her shoulders straight. "I didn't know she was missing," Alia said honestly. "I tried to contact her months ago, but the message system returned empty. I assumed she returned home quietly." "She did not," the Empress replied. "And that is why you stand here now." Alia felt a mix of worry and guilt tighten in her chest. Kalira had trusted her. What had happened to her after leaving Earth? Why would she send her name to her mother, the Empress, before vanishing? The Empress leaned slightly forward. "My daughter wrote that you are someone deeply important. Someone she trusted. Someone who would know what happened to her." Alia swallowed. She felt heat rise in her face, but she didn't look away. "I wish I knew," she said. "Kalira never explained her mission. We only worked together on limited operations. Yet she chose you," the Empress said. Her tone was not angry, but it held a sharp edge of suspicion. It made Alia feel as if she stood in the center of a storm. The Empress gestured again, and the hologram changed. It now displayed encrypted text, strange flowing symbols in the HFY language. Alia recognized some characters. Kalira had tried to teach her simple phrases once. The memory stung with warmth and worry. "These are the final logs from her mission," the Empress said. "Some parts are lost. Others are sealed. But one section mentioned a human she trusted, above all others. And now that human stands here." Alia felt the guards shift again. The atmosphere tightened. "I will ask once," the Empress continued, her eyes sharp as stars. "What was the nature of your connection to my daughter?" Alia's breath caught. She knew the truth was sensitive. Humans and HFY did not form close personal bonds easily, especially not with royalty. A relationship, even a quiet, emotional one, could be seen as a political threat. But Alia also knew lying to the Empress would be worse. She kept her voice calm. "We grew close," she said carefully. "She trusted me. I trusted her. Our connection was real. But I never meant for it to break any rule or create danger." The room felt silent. The Empress studied her for a long time, reading every detail of her expression. Alia felt cold sweat form on her palms. After a moment, the Empress spoke again, but her tone had changed. "You carry resonance." Alia frowned slightly. "Resonance? It is a trait of the mind," the Empress said. "A rare frequency. One that allows connection. Deeper than words. Few in my people have it. And no human should." Alia felt a shiver run through her spine. Kalira had once said something similar that Alia felt easy to hear, even without speaking. Alia had thought it was metaphorical. The Empress stood slowly. Her presence filled the room like a rising sun. "You are an anomaly," she said softly. "Perhaps even a danger. But you may also be the only one who can find her." Alia lifted her head. "You want my help? I require it," the Empress corrected. "My daughter trusted you. A bond like that cannot be ignored. Not by me. Not by the Dominion." The Empress motioned to the guards. "Commander Alia Reyes of Earth," she announced. "You will join the search for Princess Kalira." Alia felt her chest tighten with determination. If Kalira was alive, she would find her. If Kalira was in danger, she would save her. Because the bond they shared was real, stronger than fear, stronger than distance, and now the entire HFY Dominion was watching to see what a human could do. Alia was taken to a quiet chamber inside the Astral Palace after the Empress dismissed her. The guards moved like silent shadows around her, never speaking, never lowering their alert posture. Even when they left her alone in the chamber, She could feel their presence behind the walls, watching her every move. It made her feel like she stood inside a cage, made of air and eyes. The chamber was beautiful, but in a cold way. The walls shimmered like frozen waves, reflecting every small movement she made. A large window looked out into space, showing the blue star that the palace orbited. It pulsed softly, like a heartbeat in the darkness. Alia walked to the window and rested her hand against the cool surface. She wondered where Kaylira was at that moment. Was she safe? Was she trapped? Was she even alive? Alia closed her eyes. She remembered Kaylira's laugh, soft and warm, like wind through leaves. She remembered the way the princess would tilt her head slightly when she was curious, and how her eyes brightened when she learned something new about humans. Kaylira had blended into Earth's culture so easily. Sometimes she understood human emotions better than some humans did, and now she was missing. A soft chime rang through the room. Alia turned as the door slid open, and a tall A3 woman entered, carrying a floating crystal tablet. Her skin markings glowed a calm green, which Alia remembered meant neutral intention according to Kaylira's lessons. "I am Archivist Sereth," the woman said with a small bow. "I have been ordered to gather information related to Princess Kaylira's time on Earth. The Empress requests your cooperation." Alia nodded. "I'll help in any way I can." Sereth motioned toward a circular table. Alia sat, keeping her hands folded to show she meant no harm. The archivist placed the crystal tablet on the table. It lit up automatically, showing lines of symbols. Some were familiar, but most were complex and beautiful, like patterns drawn from starlight. "These are decoded fragments of the princess's mission logs," Sereth explained. "We have been trying to open more of them. The encryption is unusual. It follows her personal style, which makes it difficult for others to break." Alia's heart tightened. Kaylira had told her she encoded messages in a special way because she liked the challenge. Alia never imagined those playful habits would one day become the key to finding her. Sereth tapped the tablet. The symbols rearranged themselves into moving lines of text. Alia leaned closer. It took a few seconds for her mind to adjust to the rhythm of the A3I language, but she began to understand parts of it. "Why is this section blurred?" Alia asked, pointing toward a gray fog drifting across the text. "That part is sealed," Sereth said, "by the princess herself. Only someone she trusted completely can unlock it." Alia's chest felt heavy. Trust completely. It sounded so much like Kaylira. Before she could speak again, the chamber doors opened sharply. The guard stepped aside, and Empress Valoria entered. She moved with perfect grace, her long silver hair flowing behind her like gentle light. Everyone in the room bowed immediately. Alia stood as well, keeping her posture respectful. The Empress stopped across from her. "What have you found?" she asked Sereth. "Only partial fragments, Your Radiance," Sereth replied. "The sealed portion remains inaccessible. We believe the key is linked to an emotional anchor or shared memory." The Empress turned her gaze toward Alia. "Explain," she commanded softly. Alia swallowed. "Kaylira and I shared a strong connection. She may have anchored her encryption to something only the two of us knew." "Then you will unlock it," the Empress said. Alia nodded, even though she wasn't sure how. The Empress moved to the table. "Begin." Sereth activated the sealed section. The tablet glowed brighter, and the fog across the text thickened as if fighting to stay closed. Alia reached out and touched the surface. It felt warm, unexpectedly warm, like a memory rising to the skin. Alia closed her eyes, and she remembered. She remembered the night she and Kaylira stood on Earth's observation deck, looking at Luna Base through a transparent ceiling. Kaylira had stared up with wonder, calling the stars friends she had yet to meet. Alia had laughed and said, humans only saw stars as distant lights. Kaylira told her she wanted to show Alia how A3I saw the universe alive, connected, and she placed her hand over Alia's, creating a small spark of resonance. Alia focused on that moment, on the warmth, the trust, the sincerity. The tablet reacted. The fog cracked like thin glass. Sereth gasped softly. The Empress's eyes narrowed with interest, as the sealed text opened line by line. Alia reads slowly, carefully. I have found something unexpected on Earth. Not a threat. A connection. A human who hears me without speaking. Her name is Alia Reyes. If anything happens to me, she will know the truth. She will guide you. Trust her. Alia's breath caught. The words felt like a hand over her heart. She looked up, and the Empress was staring at her with an expression she couldn't read. Part cold calculation. Part something softer, but hidden deep. Sereth bowed her head. The princess trusted her greatly. Your radiance. The Empress did not respond immediately. Instead, she circled the table slowly. Commander Reyes, she said, her voice low. There are those in the Dominion who fear your species. They believe humans act on emotions rather than logic. They think humans are unstable allies. Alia kept her voice steady. Humans are new to the galaxy. We're still learning. Yet my daughter chose you, the Empress said. That trust was mutual, Alia replied gently. The Empress's eyes darkened in thought. If you betray that trust, the consequences will be severe. I understand, Alia said. More guards entered the chamber. But instead of surrounding her, they lined up behind the Empress as she took her place at the head of the table. Bring the remaining logs, the Empress ordered. 2 archivists carried in larger crystalline panels. When activated, they projected moving scenes Kalira's last known moments on Earth. She looked calm, focused, but something in her eyes was tense. Alia leaned closer. Kalira was standing near a cliff overlooking the coast of Earth. Her voice echoed through the room. Mother, if you find this message, I may be in danger. There are separatists in the Dominion. They do not want peace with humans. They believe humans should be controlled, not trusted. I cannot agree. And they know. Alia felt cold dread snake through her. Separatists. A threat from within the HFY Dominion, not from Earth. Kalira had been caught between her mission and her beliefs, and she had been targeted because she defended humans. The holo image continued. Kalira looked away from the camera as if sensing something approaching. Her markings brightened nervously. If they find me, they will hide me where even the Dominion cannot reach. But if Alia is here, Alia, if you are seeing this, I am sorry. I wanted to tell you everything, but there wasn't time. Please, don't let fear stop you. Alia's eyes stung, but she stayed composed. The recording ended abruptly, leaving the room in silence. Not even the guards shifted. Then the Empress spoke. The separatists are traitors to the Dominion. They have no right to move against my daughter. Her tone was controlled, but the air felt like it crackled with anger. We have long suspected them, but Kalira's message confirms it. Alia took a slow breath. If Kalira is alive, she needs help. She is alive, the Empress said firmly. The separatists do not kill royal blood. They use them. Alia felt a chill. Then we need to go after her. The Empress turned her full attention toward her. You will lead the search. Alia blinked. Me? Yes. The bond you shared gives you advantages we do not have. She trusted you. She may sense you even from afar. Alia nodded slowly. I'll do whatever it takes. You will not be alone, the Empress continued. An elite knight from my guard will accompany you. She gestured, and a tall, armored figure stepped forward. The knight lowered their helmet, revealing sharp, determined features and deep violet eyes. I am Sir Liren, the knight said. I am sworn to protect the princess. If you fail her, you answer to me. Alia met their gaze without flinching. I'm not here to fail her. The Empress raised a hand, and the starlit dome above them shifted, showing a map of the galaxy. A single region glowed red, chaotic, broken, surrounded by dangerous roots. The fracture belt, the Empress said. A wasteland of shattered planets and hidden stations. That is where the separatists hide. Alia stared at the map. It looked like a storm frozen in space. When do we leave? She asked. The Empress's lips curved slightly, almost like a whisper of approval. Now, Alia stood tall, heart steady. For Kalira. For the truth. For the bond that had changed everything. The search had begun. The journey to the fracture belt began only hours after the Empress gave her order. Alia found herself walking through the docking halls of the Astral Palace, following Sir Liren. The knight's silver armor reflected the lights from the ceiling, making them look like a moving shard of a star. Alia tried to match their pace, though Liren walked like a blade cutting through the air, sharp, steady, impossible to slow. Alia's heart raced. She had traveled through space many times, but never like this. Never as the center of an interstellar mission. Never with the Empress's eyes watching her every step. The docking bay opened before them like the inside of a giant crystal. Dozens of ships floated in secured energy rings, glowing with soft pulses. HFY ships were unlike human ones. They looked grown rather than built, shaped with curved lines like petals of a metal flower. "Our vessel is the Star Fury," Liren said, pointing to a sleek ship resting on a platform. It shimmered with layers of blue and white light. Alia nodded, trying not to show how impressed she was. "It looks fast." "It is," Liren replied. "And we will need speed." As they walked toward the ship, Alia asked, "How long to reach the fracture belt?" 3 cycles with normal travel," Liren said. "But with the Empress's authorization, we will use a warp channel. We will reach the border in less than 1 cycle." Alia felt her stomach tense at the thought. Warp channels were unstable. Even humans knew that. Traveling through one was risky, but finding Kalira mattered more than comfort. When they entered the ship, the door sealed behind them with a soft hum. The interior glowed with gentle blue light. The walls were smooth and curved, like the inside of a living creature. Strange lines moved across the surfaces like veins carrying energy. Alia took the co-pilot seat while Liren took the main controls. The knight touched a series of symbols that floated like small holographic feathers above the console. The ship woke up, humming like a giant heartbeat. "Prepare yourself, human," Liren said. "Warp channel travel is not gentle." Alia smirked slightly. "Neither am I." Liren gave her a sideways look, as if evaluating whether she was joking. They activated the engines, and the ship lifted smoothly before shooting forward into space. Within minutes, they reached the shimmering doorway of the warp channel. It looked like a twisting ring made of blue flames. Alia's breath caught. "It's beautiful and deadly," Liren added calmly. "Hold on." The ship entered. For a moment, everything became noise, colors bending, light stretching, pressure pushing against the ship like a giant hand. Alia gripped the seat as the Star Fury shook. Her head felt heavy, but she kept her focus. Then, as suddenly as it started, the shaking eased. Space settled around them, filled with calm, dark silence. Alia exhaled. "That was intense," Liren nodded. "You handled it better than most humans." Alia gave a small smile. "Thanks. I think." Liren's lips twitched slightly, which Alia realized was their version of a half-smile. They traveled in silence for a while. The stars outside passed like slow-moving dust. Alia leaned back and closed her eyes for a moment, but Kalira's face appeared behind them instantly. She remembered Kalira laughing when Alia taught her how to eat earth noodles. She remembered how Kalira had looked at her, sometimes soft, curious, trusting. Alia opened her eyes again. She couldn't rest. Not yet. After several hours, alarms sounded. Liren checked the controls. "We are nearing the fracture belt." Alia turned to look out the window. Her breath left her body. The fracture belt was chaos made of stars. Giant planet fragments floated through space like broken islands. Jagged pieces spun slowly, glowing red at the edges where old atmospheres still burned. Storms of dust and ice swirled between the debris. Naked lightning flashed across empty space, connecting drifting ruins. "It used to be a cluster of thriving planets," Liren said quietly. "Until the Great Collapse." Alia swallowed. "What caused it?" "No one knows. But separatists hide here because the region blocks most scans." Alia stared. "How are we supposed to find Kalira in this?" "We follow the clues," Liren said. They guided the ship into the maze of shattered worlds. The Star Fury moved with careful precision, dodging spinning rocks and glowing shards. Alia watched every movement, feeling the danger tighten around them. A signal beeped. Liren tapped it. "We are receiving an energy trace. It matches the princess's transport vessel." Alia leaned forward. "Where?" Liren pointed to a rotating chunk of a broken moon. Behind that fragment, as they approached, Alia noticed something strange, a small, hidden beacon attached to the rock. It glowed faintly, almost invisible. "Lyra left this," Alia whispered. Liren activated the ship's scanner. The signal points deeper into the belt, a region known as the Shattered Path. Alia felt uneasy. "What's there?" Liren's tone darkened. "Criminals, separatists, raiders, and old weapons left from the collapse." Alia tightened her grip on the seat. "Let's go." Liren guided the ship through a thin passage between rotating debris. At times, the walls were so close that Alia felt she could reach out and touch them. The ship scraped against a small rock once, making the hull vibrate sharply. Finally, they entered a quieter region, an open pocket surrounded by dark metal fragments. Floating in the center was a massive structure, like a fortress built inside the remains of a dead comet. Its walls were shaped from welded scrap metal and crystal, forming a bizarre mix of technology and ruins. Alia's pulse quickened. "This looks like a separatist base." Liren's hand hovered over the weapon controls. "Prepare for confrontation." Before Alia could respond, a bolt of red energy blasted past their ship. "We're detected," Liren shouted. The Star Fury dove sharply as more energy shots fired from the fortress. Alia held on tightly as the ship spun. Liren moved like a dancer, fast, precise, each motion predicting the enemy's attacks. "We can't fight an entire base," Alia said. "We won't," Liren answered. "But we can outfly them." They dodged several more blasts, zigzagging through scattered debris. Alia tried to control her breathing, but every flash of light felt like it was aimed straight at her heart. A sudden alarm blared. Liren glanced at the console. "A boarding pod has latched onto us." Alia turned. A small round pod had attached itself to the side of their ship, burning through the hull with a cutting laser. "They're trying to get inside," Alia said. "Then we will greet them properly," Liren said, standing. Alia followed, adrenaline pushing through her body. They moved to the main corridor, where the metal began to glow red. The circular outline of the pod cutter grew brighter. Alia whispered, "They'll enter any moment." Liren drew a plasma staff. "Stay behind me." The metal door burst open with a loud hiss. Smoke filled the corridor. 3 armored separatists stepped in, wearing rough, mismatched gear. Their visors glowed with dim red lights. One raised a rifle. Liren moved first. Their staff spun like a silver blur, knocking the enemy rifle aside. A sharp strike to the chest sent the first separatist slamming into the wall. Alia ducked as a second attacker swung a blade. She dodged and grabbed a loose metal bar from the wall, blocking the strike with surprising speed. The separatist staggered, surprised by the human's reaction time. Alia drove her shoulder into him, knocking him off balance. Liren took down the third attacker with a clean strike. The fight ended quickly, but Alia was breathing hard. Liren looked at her. "You fight well." Alia wiped sweat from her forehead. "I had good teachers." They sealed the corridor and returned to their stations. The ship had taken minor damage, but it was still functional. Liren checked the map again. The energy trace continues inside the fortress. The princess is close. Alia's heart pounded with hope and fear. Liren landed the ship in a shadowed part of the fortress exterior. The moment the ship touched the surface, Alia felt a strange vibration like distant machinery moving deep inside. "Stay alert," Liren said. They exited the Star Fury. The air was cold and thin, filled with the smell of metal dust. Alia's boots echoed softly on the ground as they moved down a dark corridor lit by flickering lights. The fortress felt abandoned, but the shadows seemed to breathe. Alia kept close to Liren. After several turns, they reached a heavy door with glowing symbols. Alia recognized them. "These are royal security patterns," she whispered. Lyra used them. Liren touched the door, and it opened with a low rumble. Inside was a small chamber. In the center sat a holographic projector. When Alia stepped closer, it activated. Kailira's image appeared tired, wounded, but alive. Alia's breath caught. Kailira spoke softly. "If you found this, I am being moved deeper into the belt. The separatists want to break me, but I will not let them. Alia, I trust you. Please come." The message ended. Alia felt tears rise, but she blinked them away. "We're close. She's still leaving clues." Lyran nodded. "The separatists fear her. They fear the truth she carries." Alia looked ahead into the dark hall beyond the chamber. "Then we're going after her," she said. "No matter what." And the two of them stepped into the deeper shadows of the fracture belt, ready to face whatever waited. Alia and Lyran moved deeper into the fortress. Following the faint energy signals left by Kailira, the corridors grew narrower as they walked. Strange humming sounds echoed through the metal walls, like machines waking from long sleep. Alia felt her pulse increase with every step. She knew Kailira was somewhere ahead alive, fighting, waiting. That thought kept her strong, even as the air turned colder and the shadows grew thicker. Lyran walked in front with their staff ready. Alia followed close, watching every corner. The fortress was a maze of old technology, twisted metal, and half-broken doors. Some areas looked abandoned for centuries, while others showed recent activity. This place felt like a living nightmare, broken but still dangerous. After several minutes, they reached a large chamber filled with strange glowing panels. Old machines lined the walls, connected by wires like vines. In the center stood a circular platform with a hologram flickering above it. Alia hurried closer. The hologram showed a map of the deeper part of the fracture belt, a hidden area behind layers of asteroid shields. A blinking star-shaped icon pulsed near the center. "Kailira is there," Alia said. Lyran nodded. "The heart core. Separatists use it as a prison and a control station." Alia frowned. "Why take her there?" "Because the heart core blocks long-range scans," Lyran replied. "Not even the Empress can see inside it." Alia stared at the hologram. The blinking icon almost felt like Kailira calling to her. "We need to move fast," Alia said. "If they know we're close, they will try to move her again," Lyran finished. "Or worse." Alia didn't ask what worse meant. She didn't want to imagine it. They continued through the fortress until they reached an exit tunnel. Outside, the space looked even more chaotic than before. Massive fragments drifted around the heart core like ancient guardians. The core itself was a round metallic structure floating at the center of the storm, its surface covered with red lights like angry eyes. Lyran let out a slow breath. "Prepare yourself. This will not be easy." Alia gave a determined nod. "I'm ready." They returned to the Star Fury and launched toward the heart core. The moment they approached, several defense drones activated, flying out like swarms of dark insects. "They're attacking," Alia said. Lyran steered sharply. The ship dodged the first wave, spinning between rocks and glowing debris. Brilliant red beams shot past them, shaking the hull each time they grazed it. Alia activated the shield booster. "Shields at 70%. Alia sighed. "Shields at 70%. Alia. "Shields at 70%. "Hold on," Lyran shouted. The flight turned chaotic, spinning, diving, twisting through tight spaces. Alia grabbed the control panel to keep steady. The drones moved fast, firing without pause. But Lyran's flying was even faster. The Star Fury danced through the maze, leaving the drones crashing into debris behind them. Finally, they reached a narrow opening on the surface of the heart core, a maintenance port. "Go inside," Alia yelled. Lyran guided the ship into the opening just as another wave of drones appeared behind them. The port sealed shut. Silence fell. Heavy, but safe. The heart core's interior was dark. Only thin lines of red light ran across the floor, leading deeper inside like veins. Alia and Lyran stepped out of the ship. A strange heat brushed against Alia's skin. She could feel energy around her, humming softly. "This place feels alive," she whispered. "It is powered by an ancient system," Lyran said. Older than most civilizations, they followed the red lines deeper into the core. Every step created a soft echo. Alia felt her heartbeat matching the pulse of the floor, as if the core itself was watching her. Finally, they reached a huge central chamber. A transparent energy barrier glowed in the middle of the room. Behind it, sitting on the floor with her hands bound by light cuffs, Kalira. Alia froze. She felt her breath catch in her chest. Kalira looked tired, her skin markings dim. But her eyes were still bright alive. When she saw Alia, her expression shifted from shock to overwhelming relief. "Alia," Kalira whispered. Alia rushed forward, but Liren grabbed her arm gently. "Wait. It may be a trap." Before they could move again, a loud voice echoed through the chamber. I wondered how long it would take for the Empress to send someone. Figures stepped out of the shadows, separatists wearing dark, jagged armor. At their front stood a tall HFY male with silver scars running across his face, his markings glowing in sharp red patterns. "I am Commander Vesh," he said, "leader of the separatists." Alia glared. "Let her go." Vesh gave a humorless smile. "You humans are always so direct." "But no. Princess Kalira is far too important. She carries knowledge that could change the future of both our species." Liren stepped forward. "You disgrace the Dominion." "The Dominion is blind," Vesh replied. "They believe humans are allies. But humans are unpredictable, emotional, dangerous. Princess Kalira thinks peace is possible. She is wrong." Alia clenched her fists. "Humanity is not your enemy." "Not yet," Vesh said. "But humans expand fast. They adapt fast. One day they will challenge us. I am making sure that day never comes." "I'm deaded off." "That is fear, not wisdom," Liren said coldly. Vesh ignored them. He pointed at Alia. "And you, the human she trusted. You are the reason she betrayed her mission." Alia stepped forward. "She didn't betray anything. She wanted peace. She wanted weakness," Vesh snapped. "But we will correct that." His soldiers raised their weapons. Alia felt fire surge in her chest, but she had no weapon, no shield. She only had her determination. Before Vesh could give the attack order, Kalira stood and shouted, "Stop!" Her voice echoed through the chamber, vibrating with a strange energy. Alia felt the air shift. Even Vesh looked surprised. Kalira pressed her hands against the barrier. "If you harm them, you will never control me. I will resist you until my last breath." Alia's heart twisted painfully at her words. Vesh growled in frustration. "Enough. Activate the neural drain. If she will not cooperate willingly, we will force." He never finished. The chamber lights flickered. The floor vibrated. The energy lines across the walls glowed bright blue. HFY blue. Not separatist red. A loud voice filled the room. "Commander Vesh, you have dishonored the Dominion for the last time." Alia recognized it instantly. The Empress. A massive hologram of Empress Valoria appeared above them, towering over everyone. Her expression was calm and terrifying. Vesh's eyes widened. "Impossible. The heartcore is uns." The Empress raised her hand, and the barrier around Kalira flickered and died. Kalira stepped out. Alia ran to her, and Kalira met her halfway. They did not touch. There were guards and enemies everywhere, but the relief in their eyes was enough. It felt like warmth filling the cold room. Vesh shouted, "Attack!" But the heartcore shook again. Elite A3 guards teleported into the chamber, using the Empress's emergency command codes. They moved with impossible speed, disarming separatists before they could fire. Liren joined the fight, staff flashing like lightning. Alia pulled Kalira behind a pillar for cover. "Alia," Kalira said softly, voice trembling. "You came." Alia looked at her gently. "I promised I would." Kalira lowered her head slightly, overwhelmed. "I knew you would find me." Alia smiled. "I'd cross the whole galaxy if I had to." Kalira's tired eyes softened with quiet joy. When the battle ended, Vesh lay defeated, his forces restrained. The guards secured the chamber. The Empress's hologram lowered to normal size. She looked at Alia, then at her daughter. "Kalira, she said softly. You survived. Kalira bowed her head. Thanks to them. Alia felt nervous under the Empress's gaze. But instead of anger, she saw something different in the Empress's eyes: respect. You kept your promise to my daughter, the Empress said, and proved your loyalty. Alia nodded. Kalira trusted me. I couldn't turn away. The Empress studied her a moment longer, then spoke to everyone present. Hear this. A new path begins today. Humans and Ithrai will form a true alliance, built not on fear, but on trust. The guards bowed. Kalira looked at Alia with quiet pride. The Empress turned back to her daughter. You once wrote that this human was deeply important. I see now that you spoke truth. Kalira's cheeks warmed slightly. She is. Alia's throat tightened, but she stood tall. The Empress gave a slow, approving nod. Then let this mission mark the beginning of unity between our worlds. Alia felt the weight of her journey settle into her heart, heavy, but full of hope. She looked at Kalira, who reached out and gently took her hand. Their fingers intertwined softly. They had survived the fracture belt. They had defied fear, danger, and darkness. And now, standing together, they shaped the future of two species. The galaxy felt a little brighter.